Hey girl, so we're back with the fourth installment of life lessons. And this one is a lot easier, I guess, because it's more current to film because I'm in adulthood right now as opposed to like young adulthood. That one it's really blurry for me. I mean, and I'll talk more about it in that video, but I just maybe was doing a lot of finding of myself. I mean, college, you go in thinking one thing, you come out doing another thing. But yeah, so adulthood, it's so fun, isn't it? Adulthood is molding me and shifting me into a new woman, obviously, naturally, but there's so many changes. I'm gonna quantify adulthood as, I wanna say post-college to now, so that's like 22 to 28, so 6 years. But so much has happened even between then and now. And so then what would young adulthood be? Just college? So it's kind of, it can vary, but I feel like maybe 25 is definitely the start of adulthood. You could say 23, 24 maybe, but 25 is definitely the start of adulthood. And I know I've only been in adulthood, if you will, for 3 years, but I've done a lot. As you know, I've moved across the country. I have gotten married, started a new job, lived in a new city, a new state. So many things have happened in the last 3 years that honestly, it feels like at least 5. Like it really does feel like a lifetime ago. But yeah, here we are. So let's get into it. Okay, if you're new here, my name is Kristen. Welcome to my channel. And if you're not new, welcome back. I really thought hard about what I wanted to include in this video, what felt meaningful, what felt purposeful, but I don't know, I was kind of bouncing around a lot of different topics because it's been a roller coaster the last 3 years, and it's the growing and the shaping and the pressing and the molding me into the woman that I'm supposed to become. And I just got back from a 2-week vacation to Jamaica, my motherland, and I needed that. I needed that to decompress, but also just to see the world from a different perspective. And I really think it's important to give yourself opportunities to see the world from a different perspective. I mean, life here in the States is just so go, go, go. How do I reach the highest of heights, the tallest mountain? And so I can look down on everyone and be like, ha, I made it here first. And it's like you go to Jamaica and it's like, life is hard, but let's have fun. Let's celebrate life any chance we get. Let's smile and laugh every opportunity we get. Yeah, we're hustling. Yeah, we're doing everything that we can to survive, but we're still here. Every day is another opportunity to celebrate life. And here in the States, it's like, I can only celebrate when I win. Grind, 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 hustle, hustle, hustle. And it's just exhausting. And it just shifts your perspective. What really matters? Does the fame, the money, the cars, the home, the 401k, the investment portfolio, does that really matter? Really, does it matter? I mean, vanity of vanity, all is vanities. At the end of the day, all of these things shall pass away. We shall return to dust from which we came. So that is what I've been wrapping my head around. Does all of this really even matter? And I don't have an answer. I don't know. I mean, I know God wants us to work hard with the gifts and the tools that He has given us. And the work that I do is not for my boss or my client directly, but it's for me. well, really it's for me showing God that I'm willing to utilize the gifts that he's given me so graciously. And that is what really helps me find purpose in the mundane, in the day-to-day things. Because if you try to find meaning in the things of this life, you realize all of this stuff is going to pass away. So none of it really actually matters at the end of the day. I mean, yeah, I don't want to be unhoused or starving. Nobody wants to be unhoused or starving, but it's like me making more money doesn't help other people that are unhoused and starving. I try to volunteer. I try to do the things that I can so that all the blessings that I receive, I can give to others, because they're not mine. I didn't create them for myself. I was gifted them, and so I want to gift them to others. But yeah, sometimes I'm really stumped with the question, what is the meaning? Not what is the meaning. What is the purpose of all this? Does it all really matter anyways? And so that's not really a life lesson, but that's kind of what was going through my brain as I was thinking about what I have learned in adulthood over these last few years. And growing up, being in school, you have your syllabus, you have the levels that you need to get to in school, the different grades that you need to get to. Okay, I'm trying to get to finish second grade so I can get to third grade, and I'm trying to finish 8th grade so I can go to high school, and I want to excel in 11th grade so I can get into a good college, and I want to do well in college just in case I want to go get my master's. Okay, and I want to get my master's, but I want to get it on a full ride. Like, there's something else that you're always trying to obtain, always achieve, strive for, and you have a syllabus to say, these are the things that you need to do to excel, to succeed. And so you have a barometer for success, because if you perform substandard of the syllabus, then you could either, if you perform substandard, then you will not pass. But if you perform right at level, you'll pass, but it's just okay. And if you exceed the level of the syllabus, then you excel. But you have a metric to say, this is what success looks like, this is what failure looks like. Once you get to this side, once you get to, hey, we're in real life, once you get to, there's no teacher, there's no syllabus, there's no school, you free falling. I mean, what does success look like? What does it actually look like? Does it look like getting the job, getting the promotion? Does it look like getting the guy? Does it look like getting the apartment, getting the car, getting the clothes? You know what I'm saying? And then all of those things, they feel like they mean nothing to some extent. And yeah, I know, I feel like I keep coming back to this existential crisis that I've been going through. But yeah, that's definitely what's been puzzling me. So this is just forewarning to say there will be no answers in this video. This is just me talking it through to let you know, like, if you're feeling like this, you're not alone. And if you feel like, what is my purpose in life? What is my meaning in life? What I'm going to tell you is to go to God. And that sounds, I don't know how it sounds. Honestly, I don't care how it sounds. Go to God. Talk to God as if you were talking to your friend. What are the gifts and tools that you've given me that you want me to put out into the world? That is my purpose. That's the reason I'm here in front of you right now. I know that there's something about continuing to talk to people and to help people that is purposeful to me. And I know that's something that God has called me to do, which is why, as much as I may try to, not even try, but just fall off or deprioritize it, I have to continue to come back, because I know there's something deeper here for me to get to, and I haven't reached it yet, so I need to keep going. Getting back to the point of the video, the life lesson for adulthood is you will have to adjust. You will have to reflect on what your standards were, what your expectations were, and make changes. And that's not a bad thing. Reflect on them and see if they still serve you. See if they're still relevant for this chapter of your life that you're in. My standards as a single woman, as a student, are vastly different than my standards as a working woman who's married. I can't get 3 hours of sleep at night and expect to be full throttle the next day. I'm not as young as I once was, but also that's not healthy. It's not sustainable. I cannot walk everywhere and go to the gym all the time because of A, where I live, and B, I don't have that kind of time anymore. I don't have the opportunity to have class at 8 a.m., 8 to 11, sneak over to the gym, grab some lunch, go to the library, and then have class at 5 p.m. No, I have work during the day. And so now I have to adjust and say, okay, gym in the morning, is that the time that's most efficient for me, or that I can be most consistent in going to the gym? Yes and no. Previously, I'm like, oh, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, gym days, cool. On a good week, I'll get Saturday. But realistically, am I getting to the gym Tuesday, Thursday, Friday? No. More often than not, I'll be there Tuesday, Thursday, and then I'll do either Friday or Saturday. But that lack of consistency or standard or pattern should be telling me that, hey, you need to adjust your expectations for when you are actually going to go to the gym. Speaking of gym and exercise and weight, I have struggled, I feel like, with weight in the last 3 years because I feel like I'm just increasing on the scale instead of staying stagnant or going down. And I feel like I'm making efforts to change my weight, but nothing's happening. And so I had some conversations with my dietitian and my health coach, just really thinking about what are my expectations now for my health. Growing up, health for me was I'm in dance class 12 hours a week. I have cheerleading practice for another 2 to 4 hours. We might have a game on Friday. So I'm constantly moving, constantly active. And so it's really easy for me to be skinny and lean and stay in shape. I don't have to really think about movement and exercise because it's a part of my life, a part of the things that I do that I enjoy. And then getting older, you're not in dance class for 12 hours a week. You don't get to go to cheerleading for 4 hours. So now you have to, for me, I have to consciously think about how am I going to move my body despite working a remote job, being sedentary pretty much the majority of my time. Going to the gym, even on a good month, when I'm going to the gym 3 days a week consistently for an hour and a half, that's not an active lifestyle. That is not an active lifestyle. And so I need to be real with myself. How do I change the standard for what a healthy life is? And then how do I move my expectations so that not only so that I'm meeting them, but so that they're tangible and realistic? I don't want to set myself up for failure by saying the standard is I need to go to the gym 4 days a week in the morning at 5 a.m. when sometimes I have to travel for work, or sometimes I'm exhausted because I worked late the last night, or sometimes we got home late and we have to cook dinner late and now it's hard to get up the next morning. So how do I adjust my standards for a healthy life and then match the expectations to that? And so that's what I mean by being okay with change and adjustments, and that they don't have to be bad. I think at first for me, it was like, oh, I feel like I'm losing parts of myself because now I can't do the things I would normally do on my own. I have to adjust for living with somebody else and having my life be so heavily intertwined with that of someone else's. And it felt bad. It felt like I was losing myself. And thankfully I had an amazing therapist at the time who helped me understand this concept that as you age, not as you age, but as you move into different phases of your life, adjusting your standards and expectations is normal, is natural, and it shouldn't be something that you're afraid of or afraid to do, but you have to reassess What's most important to you? What is most important to you at this phase of your life right now? What do you value most at this phase of your life right now? And based on what's most important to you, what you value, adjust your standards to meet that, and then adjust your expectations. And that doesn't mean losing your value system. Like, I'm always going to value being respectful. That's not going to change. That's not what I mean when I say adjust your values. But if previously my standard was, okay, I'm going to get up in the morning, I'm going to skip breakfast, I'm just going to have some coffee and then go to class, and then I'll get food later, snack throughout the day. That doesn't meet my health goals right now. My health goals are fueling my body so that I have enough energy when I'm at work to be able to be on, show up, be my best self, not only for me, but for my client. I need to eat. And usually it's more important for me to eat before I get into my meetings, because once I'm in my meetings, it's hard to get out of my meetings. So that's what I mean by adjusting your values, or what's most important to you, not your intrinsic values as to who you are as a person. And sometimes those also need to change. I couldn't be as selfish or independent or I don't want to say self-absorbed, but focused on myself, because it's not just me. I'm a part of a unit now. I'm not just an individual anymore. Yes, I still have my individuality, but I'm a part of a unit. I can't just think of how something impacts me. I have to think about how it impacts us. And as you move into adulthood, you're faced with a lot of different experiences than as a child or as a young adult, whether it's relationships, whether it's parenthood, whether it's dealing with your family in a different light, co-workers. There's so many variables in life now that you have to think about and consider, and there's no guidebook, there's no plan for any of them, there's no syllabus for any of them. And so you really have to take a step back and take stock of what's most important to me. What are the things that I need to say no to? When do I do the things that help refuel my body, refuel my mind? Does that mean I need to take a vacation? Does that mean I need to take some days off from work? Does that mean I need to change up my eating habits? Does that mean I need to change up my fitness routine? Does that mean I need to change how I'm putting myself out in the world, change how I look, change what I wear? What are the things that you need to adjust and change so that you can continue to grow and evolve? I'm not a very gracious person. I'm human, so I can admit to that. I can admit to my shortcomings, but God is so gracious. He is so gracious to us. I mean, the amount of times that I've messed up, done things I know I'm not supposed to be doing, just kind of doing stupid things over and over again, and yet and still His grace is sufficient. And looking at that, or thinking, really kind of pondering on that, and then looking at myself, I'm like, wow, I'm not a very gracious person. The reason I mention that is because as you're adjusting your standards and setting new expectations for yourself, you have to be gracious with yourself. You are not going to get it right the first couple of times, and you don't have to feel like you're failing just because you have to change your standards and expectations based on the season that you're in your life. And so I want to encourage you out there to give yourself grace. Understand that you are in something completely new that you've never faced before. There's no way that you'll be able to succeed and excel on the first try. I mean, maybe you can, but if you can't, that's okay. What's important is mind over matter, really. How do you get your mind in the game and say, this actually feels very uncomfortable right now, but I know that if I continue to keep trying, it will start to feel less uncomfortable. And I mean, I guess that's not really an answer or a solution, but something that I'm working on. And the more I work on it, the better adjusting to change and different standards is for me. And I try to use my time in the gym to help me with that, because in the gym is where you can see on a really, focused scale, how can I get my mind to the finish line before my body? How can I get my mind to say, once you finish this set, you'll be stronger? When my body is like, girl, baby, let's wrap this up. It's time to go home. We don't have anything left. When you do have something left. So I would say give yourself grace and really think about how can you adjust your mindset. Don't think on, oh my gosh, this task ahead of me is so hard. This change is going to be so hard to do. This new standard is so impossible. It's so not me. Why do I have to change? Why do I have to be different? Can't everyone else around me adjust? Can't they just figure it out? The reason why you're being faced with this change is because something greater lies on the other side of your adoption of this new standard. If you stay where you are, you won't get to where you really want to be. And I realized as I was saying it, that might be confusing. If you stay where you are mentally, you won't get to where you want to be physically. You have to put your mind to, I wouldn't even say put your mind on the finish line, because if you're like me, I can get so caught up on the finish line that I lose sight of the journey, and it makes it harder for me to make it through the journey. And so what I've started doing is just focusing on the next step. If I have a 50-page deck or 50-slide deck that I need to create for my client in the next 3 weeks, instead of thinking, oh my gosh, how am I going to complete this in 3 weeks? Just think about, what slide am I on right now? What material needs to be placed on this slide? What is the message I'm trying to convey for my client? And then take it to the next slide. Just one step at a time, one foot in front of the other. And I'm still working on doing that well, but that has helped me to break down the journey into smaller steps and focus less on the looming task of this large change or different way of living, and focus more on what can I control right now. I can only control what I can do with the time directly in front of me, and I can spend it thinking about, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? Or I can spend it thinking about doing it. And it's kind of like a mind trick or a mind game. If I focus on just doing it, regardless of how much I have to do or how much time I have to do it, at the end of that hour, right? Think about it as an hour. I would have done an hour's worth of work, as opposed to thinking, complaining, stressing about it for an hour and still have not gotten any work done. And this could be very niche, very specific for people who also overthink or who get really stressed out easily. I'm one of those people. This is what's helped me, and it's a journey. You have to force yourself and build that mental muscle of thinking about doing the thing and just doing the thing, instead of thinking about all the effort that it's going to take to do the thing. So that's helped me, and I don't even want to make it seem as if I've mastered this whole setting new standards and resetting expectations. I think it's a cyclical journey. I'm having to apply this mindset to different parts of my life, but I think that just from what I've seen from other people at this point in their life, having to really think about what's important to me now and how do I adjust who I am so that I can meet new goals. And some people find it easier to do that. If that's you, then this video is probably not for you, and that's okay. This video is for the people who feel where I'm coming from, who feel like, wow, life was really so easy as a kid. I didn't really have to work for it. I just was naturally good. I had a natural affinity at things. And now I'm in adulthood and I'm like, excuse me, without any rules or guidebooks, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to succeed. That's who this video is for. I'm one of those people. And there isn't really any answer. The answer is kind of intrinsic. Who are you when faced with something unknown? Who do you become when faced with a challenge you've never seen before? That's what you can control. That's what you can refine and develop. And by refining and developing that skill, then you can be the person that can adjust to different challenges in life, different obstacles in life. You can be the person that modifies expectations but still meets the goal. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I think that's the final lesson I have so far in this series. I wouldn't say I'm full of wit and wisdom. I'm only 28, but I do think that, or I know that I'm not alone in this. And I wish that I had someone that could at least just bounce ideas off of and just talk to about something like this. But I don't always have that. So I want to be that person for whoever is out there watching this video. Hopefully this is helpful. Hopefully you see a little bit of yourself in the video, or see a little bit of yourself in the journey that I'm going through, and hoping that anything I've shared with you can be helpful for you today. But yeah, I think this whole series, just like reflecting on the whole series, I loved being able to look back on my life and just take a pause to think about different experiences and how they've shaped me and molded me. I'm not someone who really thinks about the journey. As mentioned, I really think about the destination a lot. And so having to stop and think about where I've come from and how I got to where I am has been a interesting exercise. And I'd like to continue to do it, but I don't know that I'll be able to hold myself accountable to do it. So I'm gonna try to find different ways to be more reflective and mindful in my life, and focus less on the destination and more on the journey, because that's where the magic is. That's where all the fun things happen, because the destination only lasts for a moment, but the journey lasts so much longer. So thanks for tuning in. I hope to see you next month. Not sure what my next video will be, but if you have any ideas for that, let me know down below. And if you like this video and want to see more of my content, definitely let me know by liking this video, subscribing to my channel, and telling me one thing you liked about the video. Bye.